Bringing you up-to-the-minute and relevant news in local and international maritime trade, it's Nimasa this week. Hello and welcome. My name is Uretiola Doyle. The Minister of Transport, Senator Idris Umar, spoke at length on the level of progress being made by Nimasa in her bid to accelerate development in the nation's maritime sector. The Minister of Transport, Senator Idris Umar, stated this at the 2014 edition of the Ministerial Press Briefing in Abuja. He also highlighted on some significant and radical improvements being carried out in other agencies and parastatals under his ministry. Our Waterways correspondent, Amanda Akwan, takes a close look at some of the transformations being carried out in the Ministry of Transport.
Transportation is a pivot in which the economy of any nation revolves because progress in other economic life of a country depends largely on the efficiency of this all-important sector. Hence, transportation is a major tool used by President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan to reposition Nigeria's economy under its transformation agenda. While presenting his scorecard at the recent ministerial press briefing in Abuja, the Minister of Transport, Senator Idris Umar, stated that the role of his ministry was to develop an adequate, safe, environmentally sound, efficient and affordable integrated transport system within the framework of a progressive and competitive national and international market economy. Fully aware of the importance of his ministry to the economic growth of the nation, Senator Idris Umar and his bureaucrats have worked assiduously to ensure that all the agencies and parastatals under the ministries deliver on all fronts. The minister expressed satisfaction with the significant and radical improvements going on in his ministry and highlighted some of the groundbreaking initiatives being carried out by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency Nimasa.
The first Nigerian Maritime University is being built in Corporateman in Delta State. The agency has also established maritime institutes in 4 Nigerian universities. 2 more institutes have been earmarked for the Federal University of Kashin in Kogi State and Anambra State University.
Senator Idris, in his address, also informed the nation about the Nigerian Railway Corporation determination to rehabilitate over 90% of the existing narrow gauge lines throughout the country. This will form the first segment of the 25 years railway strategic vision. The Honorable Minister reaffirmed the smooth flow of passengers and goods from Lagos to Kano under the Western Line and the Eastern Line, which linked Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. According to the Minister of Transport, the ongoing construction of Abuja-Kaduna standard gauge rail line will be completed and delivered by the end of 2014. The Executive Director of Finance and Administration at Nimasa, Haruna Babajaru, commended the efforts of the federal government of Nigeria to rehabilitate the railway system.
There have been a lot of progress, a lot of developments, and the common mass will eventually give the testimony of the impact of what this sector is doing. You know, the scorecard given, especially in the railways, you find out that the sector is diversifying, number of passengers are increasing, and thank God for the MD Railway who said that the fares are not high.
The minister was particularly happy with the transformation process taking place at the Nigerian Ports Authority, most especially the concession to private operators who are now responsible for all aspects of cargo handling operations and terminal upgrades. The introduction of the electronic payment solutions by NPA has reduced significantly the burden associated with payments for port services.
Before now, it was taking about 5 days for you get the payment made, confirmed, and then you will say annual clearance of your residence. Today, it takes just 2 minutes.
The Minister of Transport also underscored some of the projects embarked upon by the Nigerian Shippers Council.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is promoting and facilitating the establishment of 6 inland dry ports in the country under public-private arrangements. The inland dry ports will be fully operational when they are declared as port of origin and port of destination. cost for import and export.
He also spoke extensively on the substantial progress made by NIWA to deliver efficient intermodal transportation system by improving on navigable waterways that linked more than 20 states in the country. The minister also mentioned NIWA's efforts in enhancing safety on our waterways. Still on the performance of the parastatals under his ministry, Senator Idris Umar spoke on the plan by the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Man Oron, to upgrade to a degree awarding institution. To this end, the institution has set up machinery to facilitate the smooth implementation of this lofty initiative. The sustenance of these key initiatives by the Transport Ministry will surely boost the nation's economy and fast-track the transformation agenda of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Marine notice from the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency Nimasa. Withdrawal of maritime services from port facilities found to be non-compliant with the provisions of the International Ship and Port Facility Security ISPS Code. Pursuant to the agency's regulatory mandate as a designated authority for the implementation of the International Ship and Port Facility Security ISPS Code in Nigeria, and in line with its functions, the general public is hereby informed as follows: that having exhausted all intermediate measures to compel deficient port facilities to address identified areas of non-compliance with the ISPS code, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency Nimasa has commenced the withdrawal of maritime services from such port facilities, terminals and jetties. That the withdrawal of maritime services, which implies the stoppage of ship calls at such facilities, shall remain in place until the designated authority is satisfied that minimum requirements for compliance with the ISPS code have been met. All port facility owners, operators are therefore advised and should be guided accordingly. For further information or clarification, please contact Secretary ICIC via email isps.icic@nimasa.gov.ng or call the number 0803 497 5876. Signed, Management.
The Minister of Transport, Senator Idris Umar, has stated that the milestones recorded by Nimasa in the areas of human and infrastructural capacity development as well as security on our waterways have significantly contributed to the growth of Nigeria's transport sector. The minister stated this in Abuja recently while giving an account of his stewardship over the last 1 year. In our next report, our correspondent Rachel Ubani highlights the contributions made by Nimasa.
Transportation is regarded as the live wire of any society, owing to its huge importance to the free flow of goods and services, thereby improving the commercial activities of any nation, which invariably boosts the gross domestic product of that nation. A viable transport sector is the boon of any economy because its development revolves and depends on the efficient performance of the transport system. Under the President Goodluck Jonathan administration, transportation has become a key setup as part of the universal strategy of repositioning the Nigerian economy. The tremendous progress recorded in the transport sector in the past 4.5 years highlights the importance placed on the sector. At the 2014 ministerial press briefing on the programs and progress of the Ministry of Transport and its agencies held recently in Abuja, the Minister of Information, Mr. Labaran Mako, in his introductory speech, touched on the importance of the sector and the landmark achievement recorded under the present administration.
Today, the story of transport has changed completely and is still changing. So whether by rail, or by road, or by sea, or by air, President Jonathan has changed the story of transportation in Nigeria, and this for me is the best period of transportation in the country.
Presenting his scorecard, the Honorable Minister of Transport, Senator Idris Umar, defined the various agencies in the ministry, highlighting their functions and contributions. Dwelling on the position of Nimasa as the apex regulatory and promotional maritime agency in the country, Senator Umar commended the agency for the giant strides recorded in the areas of human and infrastructural capacity development.
In the area of maritime labour convention and further of the convention agenda, the federal government has joined the league of the first 5 countries in Africa and is at 7th in the world to adopt and ratify the Maritime Labour Convention MLC 2006. The agency under the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program (NSDP) is currently training over 2,500 cadets in various maritime professions at degree levels in maritime engineering, nautical science, and naval ethics, reputable institutions, Philippines, Egypt, India, Romania, and the United States.
He adds that the feat achieved in ensuring safety on the waterways is not only commendable, but has also greatly grown the transport sector.
They have enhanced flag and postal administration, they have enhanced search and rescue operation, enhanced coastal patrol, thus reducing instances of piracy. We have no national career, we are shielding system, and therefore there is a compelling need. And Nimasa have already initiated the process and we hope that by early 2015, latest the middle of 2015, this is going to be achieved and actualized.
The agency has recorded tremendous progress in the ISPS code compliance level of ports and terminals in Nigeria. So far, 26 ports are in compliance in the onshore category, while 23 in the offshore category. 5 in the offshore category are pursuing compliance, while 73 in onshore are not in compliance and 2 in offshore not in compliance. Also, Nimasa has successfully deployed a 24-hour satellite surveillance system within the Nigerian maritime domain and the entire Gulf of Guinea to support search and rescue efforts in the 9 countries within the region. The Executive Director of Maritime Labour and Cabotage Services Nimasa, Barrister Callistus Obi, shares his opinion on the presentation.
Maritime labour, so far we are doing well. The transformation agenda makes it imperative that we must key into Maritime Labour Convention to give our seafarers opportunity for employment and for their welfare to be further guaranteed. So it's all work in progress, and we are motivated. We'll continue to do the best we can, and it's all kudos to the able leadership of our DG, who has shown tremendous passion in ensuring that the Nimasa, raises the bar. And that's what we are doing presently.
The Executive Director of Finance and Administration Nimasa, Mr. Haruna Baba Jauro, explains Nimasa's due diligence in disbursing the CVFF fund.
You cannot take public funds and just expend it anyhow. Government is a process, and releasing money also has a process. You have to be assured also that if you give somebody government funds, public funds, that the output will be gained by the public. You cannot give the money when you are not sure. And so this due diligence has to be done. And honestly, we are not going to bend to pressure. We are not going to bend by people saying they must get it. No, we will have to make sure that if we give this money, they are going for the right purpose.
The head public relations Nimasa, Mr. Isichei Osangwi, attributes the milestones recorded by Nimasa to the support of President Goodluck Jonathan, while also assuring of more achievements in years to come.
The management of Nimasa, led by Ziakide Patrick Akpobulukemi, have delivered on their promise on several issues, and we are delighted to say that over the years to come, as much as possible, we'll begin to deliver on other greater results. We're thankful for Nigerians for their support, and to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, for all the supports in terms of backing our deliverables. The university programs we have, the NSDP programs we have, and all the other objectives, particularly our satellite surveillance system, which is geared towards ensuring a safe and secure maritime domain for Nigeria.
Marine notice. Search and rescue emergency numbers. Pursuant to the agency's statutory mandate to ensure the safety of lives and property in the Nigerian maritime domain, Notice is hereby given that reporting of all maritime incidences is now mandatory, and as such, the agency's Regional Maritime Coordination Center is to be contacted on the following emergency telephone lines: 07 0007 00010 and 07 0007 00020. Signed, Management.
I have a belief that the best form of security is investing in the youths. No amount of soldiers, no amount of police, air force, or whatever can guarantee the safety of lives as much as investment and job creation for our teeming youth. Therefore, I'm assuring our graduates that whatever that it takes us to find job for them, the job is going to be available.
The role and responsibilities of the three tiers of government in marine oil pollution management has been brought to the fore. The Assistant Director, Marine Environment Management Department of Nimasa, Mrs. Susan Asagwara, disclosed this in an exclusive chat with newsmen in Lagos recently. While lauding the efforts of Nimasa in dealing with marine pollution, she urged states to undertake in the pollution response and cleanup as stipulated by the International Oil Pollution Compensation Fund Convention. Our correspondent, Rachel Ubani, has the details.
The perennial issue of marine oil pollution, which has become a constant feature on the waterways, is a problem that raises serious concerns. This underscores the importance of sustainable management of the marine environment, a critical assignment demanding total commitment on those entrusted with the responsibility. Against this backdrop, the International Maritime Organization IMO, responsive to its obligations, introduced the Marine Pollution Convention, otherwise known as the MAPOL Convention, and regarded as the mother of all conventions, intended to ensure the protection of the marine environment from all forms of pollution. Nimasa, as the apex maritime regulatory authority in Nigeria, is saddled with the responsibility of implementing the conventions and protocols of the IMO. The agency's commitment in that regard has surpassed the expectation of stakeholders in the maritime sector. In its bid to ensure the protection of Nigeria's maritime domain, Nimasa created the Marine Environment Management Department, MEM, through which the domestication of relevant IMO conventions has been achieved. In an exclusive chat with the Assistant Director, Marine Environment Management Department, Mrs. Susan Asagwara, recently in Lagos, she tackles in depth the issue of marine pollution while defining the role of the three arms of government in prevention and control.
It's through the marine environment that ships come into Nigeria, and we know the importance of ships in international trade. If you don't bring many goods that you sell here, import and export, majority of them come through the sea. So when the sea is polluted, the ships cannot come because of pollution. So that's why it must be kept. Each of these arms of government have something to do for oil pollution that are carried by sea. Remember that Nigeria is an oil producing country. As an oil producing country, we stand a risk of all these tankers that come to carry our oil in bulk. Maybe there's an accident, or it can come from, maybe a ship can break into two and you pollute the whole area.
Mrs. Asagwara further explains the processes in dealing with marine pollution.
To deal with marine oil pollution, it involves the following processes: preventive measures, preparedness and response, and also cost recovery and compensation. So, for preventive measures, we know that you have to prevent pollution in the first instance. So what the government is doing is that before the marine pollution, before any emergency, the federal government will enact and enforce all designs and the equipment standards for ships that will be carrying oil. There must be standardization of the equipment that they are going to use. Then all safety standards must be put in place, and all crew certification and training must also be put in place, which Nimasa is doing.
She lauds Nimasa's efforts in enforcement and training and urges states to play their parts as stipulated in the International Oil Pollution Compensation IOPC Fund Convention.
Whether we are port state, flag state, or coastal state, we should have a national system of responding to oil pollution incidents, which is generally called a contingency plan. And then you designate the national authorities and the operational focal points that must take charge when such a thing happens. All the people that take oil, such persistent oils that is required, each of them in the whole world, in the member countries, are required to contribute a pool of funds. A convention that covers that is called IOPC Fund Convention. That is the International Oil Pollution Compensation Fund. It's a pool of funds that is established to pay for the secondary compensation.
Creating a pollution-free marine environment is the collective responsibility of all industry players. If stakeholders do the needful to complement Nimasa's efforts in that regard, this feat would be a fait accompli.
It's Nimasa This Week, the official mouthpiece of the Nigerian maritime sector. We'll be back after the break.
The Indigenous Ship Owners Association of Nigeria, ISAN, now referred to as the Nigerian Indigenous Ship Owners Association, NISA, was conceived 25 years ago for indigenous players in the maritime industry to take benefit of the cabotage trade. The association has recorded tremendous success under the leadership of its chairman, Chief Isaac Jalakpamo. 25 years after, the association is ready to conduct its first ever election on the 24th of October 2014. Various positions are being contested for, but the one generating a lot of interest amongst industry practitioners is the office of the president, which has attracted some of the bigwig in the sector. Some of the contestants for the position of president for the NISA Association share their views on their plans for the association.
I intend to formulate a strategy to ensure that our shipyards start working and working well.
The founding fathers have done a good job to this extent. We need to take NISA to the next level. I believe that I can bring a synergy between the ship owners and the maritime administrator to work better.
The NISA election will define the direction of the maritime industry in Nigeria and make the maritime industry an alternative to the nation's reliance on oil.
Now, we've come to that time of the show when we bring you answers to questions that we have determined to be some of the most frequently asked on our show. And this week, we begin like this.
Our frequently asked question for this week is, how did the International Shipping Port Facility Security ISPS Code come into effect? The Executive Director, Maritime Safety and Shipping Development at Nimasa, Captain Ezekiel Bala Agaba, gives us the answer.
Okay, after the attack in the US, the tendency was that it's possible to use vessels to also carry out the attack when planes were used. So now the IMO now came together and said, look, why don't we put a security code in place that guards the ports and ships? That's where the name came of ISPS, International Ships and Ports Security Code.
Nimasa, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. registration, no. Nimasa, commercial shipping, no. Nimasa, maritime labor,
the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, the nation's maritime watchdog, established to promote maritime safety, security, commercial shipping, and regulate maritime pollution. Nimasa is well positioned and committed to take the development and standardization of Nigeria's maritime industry to greater heights. Are you interested in the local or international commercial shipping business or in seafaring and do not know what to do or how to go about it? Nimasa will guide and see you through. Sea pirates, oil thieves, and all forms of dubious and illegal business on Nigeria's maritime domain have no hiding place because Nimasa's eagle eyes will locate or catch up with you. For Nimasa, it is zero tolerance to sea pollution as all abandoned ships and wrecks on Nigeria's waterways which pose danger to sea transportation will be cleared. Nimasa, promoting safe and secure maritime environment.
And so we come to the end of this week's edition of Nimasa This Week. As always, we hope we kept you educated and informed. Now, please do not forget Nimasa This Week is interactive. All you need to do is send an email to the address currently showing on your screen. Now, we're going to be here, same time, same station next week. Until then, we're wishing you smooth sailing and bon voyage.